Good morning, welcome to my Around the Kent Coast Cycling Challenge. It's great to have you back again. This is part 20 now. So the idea of this Kent Coast Cycling Challenge is for me to cycle around the entire length of the Kent Coast. We started back in early January, back in kind of Dartford area, and we're aiming to kind of finish this year going round to kind of Dungeness on the border on the south side of Kent. So this is part 20, so we're about halfway through our challenge. It's going to be a really good cycle today. We'll see what we can find around the coast. Let's get going. So this week's route started at Faversham Creek, which is about a mile now behind my left shoulder. We will be going along the swale still, and across the water is the Isle of Sheppey, which we have spent quite considerable time going around. But we kind of leave this swale this week and go out towards the side of the North Sea, as you see here, and we will be heading towards Whitstable, which you may just see over my left shoulder in the distance. It's very interesting today, quite a nice path, lots to see. There is also a classic car show in Faversham where I left this morning, which you may take a look at on the way back, and also an interesting boatyard. So hopefully you'll join me for the entire route. Let's get going. So I've got a bit of a trivia question for you today. When and where was the last time the British fought an invading force on the UK land? It's quite an interesting fact this, so I'm going to give you about 15 seconds to give it some thought. So the answer to my trivia question was the 27th of September in 1940 during World War II, and it was the Battle of Graveney Marsh. Now Graveney Marsh is actually right here before us. As I just pan round, I'll just show you the marsh. It's very interesting. So the Battle of Graveney Marsh was the last ground engagement involving a foreign force to take place on the mainland of Great Britain. The fighting took place between a crew of a shot-down German Junker Ju-88 bomber and a detachment of soldiers from the 1st Battalion London Irish Rifles at Seasalter. So it's a very interesting fact, history in the making here on Graveney Marshes. Right, let's carry on along the path, see what else we can find. So just a bit further along the path now, we're coming to Seasalter, which is kind of a satellite town just by the side of Whitstable. Now Seasalter is quite interesting because it was always well known for its salt production back in the Iron Age, and due to its success in the kind of salt production, it actually used to be a prime target for Viking invasion. So the Vikings would have kind of come across the North Sea and invaded this area quite frequently. Which is very interesting. As we kind of go through Seasalter by the sea, it's quite interesting to see all the kind of little houses and beach huts along there. I will show you the journey along there, which is very interesting. So excuse me as I'm reading the text here. In the Domesday Book, Seasalter was actually known as the property that belongs to the Archbishop of Canterbury, and in the 18th century the marshes were drained to create the Seasalter levels, which kind of I believe is out kind of this way, which is very interesting. I believe this was once all kind of marshland. So as we go through Seasalter along the coast, you'll see some kind of nice little bungalows and kind of beach huts. Now some residents that were well known to have lived in these kind of properties included Harry Hill, Janet Street Porter, and the late Peter Cushing, which is very interesting. Right, let's carry on around the coast. So the path during this trip has actually been blocked by many things, including kind of MOD areas and kind of factory factories and industries, but this is a first because the path is now actually blocked by these Sussex cattle as I pan round. Now these are actually a kind of native breed to the UK, and going by their name, they're actually native to Sussex. But you do actually get the breed all around the country, and in fact all around the world. It's quite interesting to see herd here, kind of by the side of the swale. It's really nice to see actually. I will now attempt to kind of dodge around them as I carry on around the swale. So as we cycle along the swale, there are areas of the kind of coastline that we're not allowed to kind of go along the water's edge. Now the reason for this is that a lot of it is kind of designated to kind of wildlife sanctuaries, like here, because we've just kind of passed Castle Coot Bird Sanctuary. Now this is kind of a really nice thing really, because as I'm cycling along, I actually noticed a difference in the volume of bird song. It's almost if the kind of birds can really thrive here, where there's kind of no humans allowed, which is really nice to see. Anyway, I thought I'd show you that. Let's carry on around the swale. So my Kent Coast Cycling Challenge blogs I'm trying to post on a Friday or perhaps over the weekend, but on a Tuesday or Wednesday I will also try and release the entire head cam footage of these blogs, which is filmed by my kind of head cam on my helmet, which is just here. So that comes out every kind of Tuesday or Wednesday. It probably lasts about 45 minutes each time, because there's quite a lot of footage to put on there. So if you've got a bit of time to kill and you want to see the entire route, please check out my channel. So something interesting I've noticed coming along the path today is that there's a lot of posters against a proposed development of kind of a solar farm on these marshes here. So I'm guessing the kind of planners and developers are hoping to put a huge solar powered farm kind of along the across these fields, which is a bit of a shame really, because I kind of think it kind of ruin the landscape here, and it will be quite detrimental to the area. Now I'm all for kind of green energy and kind of solar farms, but I'm not sure here is the right place. I mean, I'm not sure why the government don't just perhaps say to developers that any new development needs to be kind of 80% sustainable energy from that site, and that will soon encourage kind of more locally based kind of natural means of producing energy. And that's actually a good thought. I may propose that to the government. Right, let's carry on around the swale. Thanks for joining me today in part 20 of my Around the Kent Coast Cycling Challenge. It's been good. We've seen a lot of fascinating and historical stuff today as we journeyed along the swale. Please don't turn straight off, because I am heading in towards Faversham now, back to where we started from today, and there is a classic car show, so I may show you some clips of that. So keep tuned and I'll see you next week.